like to start the open workshop. It is 5:43. It is Wednesday, July 25th. Take a roll call. Trustee Alonso is here. Trustee Cruden is here. Trustee Finnerty is absent. Trustee Lalonde is absent. Trustee Munoz is absent. Trustee Ryan is here. Trustee Bellato is here. Vice President Wilbeck is here. And President Broderick is here. Superintendent, I'll turn it over to you first.
Thank you, Dr. Mader. Good evening, everyone. Summer is a time to plan for the new school year. As a Board of Education, you have had much success last year as you put forth a quality effort into supporting a multiple-tiered system of supports in grades K through 2, as well as a revision to the promotion and retention policy in grades 4 through 8. Now is the time to implement the aforementioned programs. As we plan, we also set our goals and devise a professional development plan to guide our goals. The district-wide goals will be twofold: to address learning difficulties in our early childhood at-risk population and to combat chronic absenteeism, which is not only a Bayonne concern, but also an issue throughout the state. Dr. Degnan will now provide you with an overview of our goals and the district-wide professional development plan for the 2018-2019 school year. Dr. Degnan?
Thank you, Dr. Wanko, and good evening, trustees. I would like to bring your attention this evening to a few plans that we are currently in development this summer. The first item I did share with you are your district goals. Item number 2 is the district professional development plan. And item number 3 is our district staff training and development. And we tried to make sure that all these goals were aligned with the superintendent's goals and ultimately with your board goals. And as Dr. Wanko said, our district goal number 1 is to address chronic absenteeism by decreasing the percentage of school district students who are chronically absent and fall below the federal guidelines. And chronically absent is defined as not present for 10% or more of the days that a student was in membership at school. And I know last month we did talk a little bit about religious holidays. Just to bring everybody up to speed, there's a concern that people think it's 10% of the school year, so if I have 18 days out, then I'm chronically absent. But we have to remember the clock starts ticking as soon as the student is enrolled. So if the student is enrolled in July and they missed the first 10 days in September, they're a chronic offender. So it depends on your days in membership in school. So it's a lot different now for a principal or an attendance officer to stay to watch, because you can enroll in January and have 10 days out. By February, you're a chronic offender. So it's a little more, the way we have to address this, we're going to have to look at the data. I also said in addition to calls, meetings, and et cetera, we're going to make this a major focus for the year, kicking off with September. September is the National Attendance Awareness Month. So what I'll do is next month I'll have a resolution prepared in support of our vision for the August meeting. And I'd also like to institute a school climate committee to look at trends in schools and to make attendance a priority. The second goal is to implement a multiple-tiered system of support in kindergarten through grades 2. And we did look at this as a curriculum committee last year, and that was the planning stage. So now we are in the implementation stage. The phonics program purchase order was prepared. We're going to have that ready for K to 2. That would be an additional 30 minutes 3 times a week. Staff training will take place in September. And also, we're going to get the adaptive diagnostic that we talked about, which will be a universal screening tool for our students to see which are most at risk. That way we can prepare our interventions for the year. So attached are the 2 goals for the year. Again, one is chronic absenteeism, and the second one is the MTSS. Of course, now we want our district professional development plan to align with this. Again, we will be looking at chronic absenteeism with the teachers. A second part of the professional development plan would be the New Jersey Student Learning Standards. We just went through CUSAC, and we have to understand, we moved from Common Core to New Jersey Student Learning Standards. We have to continue to upgrade our pacing guides, continue to upgrade our assessments, and make sure that our curriculum work for our ELL learners, our at-risk, our gifted and talented, and our special needs populations. So, of course, you'll see the curriculum writing resolution in this evening. MTSS, which we talked about. I just want the trustees to understand that the multiple tiered systems of support is also a new indicator in CUSAC. It was not in our last go-around, but when we come in 3 years, we have to show that we were moving in that direction, and thank you for your support. We are. And finally, we've about the 5th or 6th year PLCs, so we are in the sustaining stage of PLCs, and the NJT already likes to see that they are now taking place in our district. And finally, planning for the first staff training and development day. K-2 will be strictly for the interventions for the foundations program. And then we also talked about mindfulness. There's a resolution this evening that we will be working with our students that are going through a lot of stress and anxiety, and you know that this occurs because of homework or assessments. So we do have a resolution to address mindfulness, and that will be the bulk of our teachers for that day. And then, of course, in our pre-K, we will continue with our high school curriculum that's mandated. So a lot of July is spent on getting our goals in order, and I know that Dr. Wanko did share them with you. We did speak about them in the curriculum committee, and if any members have any questions, I'll gladly speak to them now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Degnan. Before you know it, September will be here, and our staff and students will be returning to school. To make sure our teachers are prepared on day one to provide a safe and productive learning environment, Mr. Lopez has been planning the new teacher orientation. Additionally, he is planning professional development programs for returning staff members. Mr. Lopez will now provide us with an overview of the programs he is developing. Mr. Lopez?
Thank you, Dr. Wanko. We have scheduled and planned for the annual new teacher orientation, which is beginning of the mentoring process our new teachers will experience during their first year of teaching in Bayonne. The new teacher orientation will run for 2 full days, August 14th and 15th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Dr. Wanko will welcome the new teachers on the 14th in the Bayonne High School auditorium. The new teachers will receive their laptops and work on a variety of technology topics such as real-time, gradebooks, smartboards, websites, GoGuardian, Gmail, and Google Drive. The technology department will be running all of the training on the 14th, and Principal Baccarella will be taking the group on a tour of the Bayonne High School campus to close out the day on the 14th. The next day, the 15th, the new teachers will begin their day with a presentation on evaluations and observations led by Dr. Degnan. The business office will be giving a presentation on payroll and pension. Mrs. Mary Moore will be giving a 90-minute tutorial on lesson plans. Renee Bush will be training the teachers on topics of HIV and suicide prevention, and I will close out the second day of the orientation addressing a variety of personnel issues, policies, and our mandatory trainings. We have also scheduled many of our professional development sessions and trainings for the year. The district will be using the Safe Schools online system again this year. Last year was our first year using Safe Schools, and it was a huge success, and it is at no cost to the district. Our staff will also be taking an online certification training that is new and provided for free by the New Jersey Department of Children and Families. David Nash from Legal One will be coming into the district to retrain and give updates to our administrators and guidance counselors on harassment, intimidation, and bullying. And our administrators will also be taking the FEMA Incident Command System 100 level course as well. As we move through the year and we add trainings and presentations, I will keep you updated. Thank you, Dr. Wanko.
Any questions for Mr. Lopez? Thank you, Mr. Lopez. As you saw entering the campus, the excavation for the replacement steam pipe is well underway. Mr. Smith will provide you with a report on the progress and timeline of this project, as well as the roofing projects. He will also review the medical insurance rates and the MOAs with ASME, as well as our paraprofessional contracts. Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Dr. Wanko. Good evening, trustees and members of the public. The steam pipe is being excavated. The old pipe has been totally cut up and dismantled, and we scrapped it in Jersey City. We got a few dollars on it at the going rate. We are ahead of schedule in the excavation. There is a 6 to 8 week lag time, though, however, on the ordering of the new pipe, and it's not from our end, it's from the manufacturing end, because the steam pipe has to meet certain criteria. We're quite confident that the project will be completed by October 15th. We do have a backup plan in place if it is not, that we will discuss at finance in our August meeting. So we will have heat come October 15th, either via the steam pipe or via secondary vehicles, which will come in with portable boilers and be hooked up to the main building. This could not be foreseen. It was a pipe that was buried for 35 years under that tennis court, and it did spring some leaks, and we did have it pressure tested, and it just took on a life of its own. In fact, we're quite lucky it did fail when it did fail at the end of April, at the end of the heating season. If this had happened in December or January, we would have been hard-pressed to supply heat to the main building of the high school. So we're working on it. The engineers are on site daily. Our own men are doing a terrific job under the guidance of Mike Kubert and Vinnie Caiola and their staffs, and they have dug up and done a majority of the excavation work, which would have cost us tens of thousands of dollars if we had gone out to have it done by an outside contractor. So that's where we are with the steam pipe. The medical insurance rates were set by AON, that's the state agency that sets our new rates every year. And if you remember, we probably budgeted in the 15 to 17%, 17.5% for an increase in our medical insurance. Our consultants that came in last year, if you remember, wanted us to switch, and it would have been like a 22% increase, but the finance committee held tight, and the increase is only, when I say only, we got an increase of about $650,000, which equates to about 3.7% overall, which is a far cry from what we budgeted, ladies and gentlemen. So it did happen to work out this year, but rest assured we will keep our eyes on these rates, because with big players like Jersey City now leaving that state pool and Newark having left already, they can rise at the next year when they set the rates again. So the business office will keep an eye on what's going on, and will be at the ready to go out and shop our health insurance around. That begs the question, the money that we're saving in health now can probably lessen the load in some of those capital projects that we are being forced to do. The steam pipe, the filter at Lincoln Community School, which is over 40 years old. So we'll have to look at that in finance, and we'll get back to you at the next meeting as to a direction on those items. ASME and the paraprofessionals have signed memorandums of agreements. ASME had asked to hold off on ratifying their memorandum of agreement until late August, when most of their members will be back from vacation. And the paraprofessionals, because they're 10-month employees, they will not be able to ratify until the first week of September when they come back. So we'll have all of that for you. So those contracts have been settled. There's only one contract out there still, that's the bus attendants. And we're meeting with them, I believe, on the 8th of August to hopefully bring that to a conclusion. So relatively speaking, we should have some labor peace going forward, something that this district has not been accustomed to. So we're doing a good job, and you're doing a great job. Washington School, the roof is well underway. They've taken off the layers and layers up there. That job is moving along quite smoothly. The problem job seems to be the contractor for the high school roof, although they did remove the solar panels over here at the high school. They have not shown up to start the work. He's blaming the weather, which could be a factor with all the rain and the dampness and the wetness. So we put a letter out to them to come forward and please expedite that job. The architect and the engineer are on top of the contractor. There is a performance bond in the bid, so we will stay on top of that, and we will keep you updated on the progress or lack thereof on the high school main building roof. And that's all I have, Dr. Walko.
Any questions for Mr. Smith? Thank you, Mr. Smith. Tomorrow and Friday at 7 p.m., as well as Saturday at 2 p.m., the Bayonne High School Drama Society Junior Summer Playhouse will present Hairspray Junior. Please come and see our talented grades 2 through 8 thespians perform. For tickets, you can visit bhsdramasociety.com. Any questions for me?
Tomorrow at 2?
No, Saturday at 2, tomorrow at 7.
Tomorrow at 7, Saturday at 2.
Hearing no other questions, I turn the meeting back to Dr. Maida.
We're good. I'd like everybody to turn to our agenda. I'll give you a minute. There have been some additional communications since the draft copy that I sent home. You'll see there's an additional resignation, 2 additional resignations, and a retirement. Can I have 2 volunteers to move and second communication?
I'll move. I'll second.
Trustee Villado and Trustee Cruden, thank you. Okay, our committees met. I'll start with our curriculum committee. I'm going to ask you to turn to Resolution A3. That was changed. All it was is staff members were switching from, to a different day on that registration. Okay. I'm going to hold on getting this signed. I'll ask you to turn to A14. I have a revised copy. And at the committee meeting, it was mostly a language change. It talks about the New Jersey Principal Evaluation for Professional Learning Observation Instrument or the Marshall rubric. So we made the correction. And that'll take us to A18. A18 is we're accepting our non-public 2018-19 school year non-public, and you'll see a breakdown between textbook aid, technology aid, security, and nursing. So I'll ask Trustee Villado since you moved.
Dr. Wango, we say non-public, we're talking about like Marist and, right, All Saints? Let me make sure. Beacon.
It's Marist, Beacon Christian, Yeshiva, and All Saints Catholic Academy. There are some students in our attendance area that attend schools in Jersey City, Trustee Munoz. One is St. Nicholas, I think another is Mustard Seed. So they can get some instructional services through Title I. This is non-public in district.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to, trustees, I'm going to double check on that A3 and I'll get back to you on that. So that completes curriculum. Any questions?
I thought I saw it. I don't know if I got the right set of copies, but these, A3 and A4, which don't match your A3 and A4, I'm talking about the B thing.
Dr. Winter, I have a question.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
Do you, is there any plans in the future? I know that one of the things you wanted to do when you came to the district was to bring in Frontline or Track. Yeah, which was brought out by Frontline, that's why I said Frontline.
Exactly right, and Mr. Copaz just sent me a agreement, so the new quote from them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, okay, no, because I see like we're job posting in the Star Ledger, and I feel like it's expensive.
Wait till you get the price on.
Okay.
So the finance committee is going to have to make a decision with personnel. And I have to say this, the amount of money we would pay Frontline, we would get back in hours that we lose doing what we're doing the old way.
Right. And also, if I'm not mistaken, Track gives us access to a wide array of candidates that ordinarily wouldn't get publications like the Star Ledger.
You're absolutely right, plus the nurse position, for example, would be one excellent example of how that would widen that pool. In addition, as you know, we're posting for BA. We have 10 applications that came in. If we were on Frontline or Track, we would probably have tripled that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Same thing, what are you looking at? I mean, this is important or not? Right.
Yeah, that's that too.
Is something marked,
Yeah.
or, I mean, is it typo?
Well, A3 and A4 should be,
Maybe have an A3 and A4 here.
yeah.
So, like-
These are your Bs, I'm sorry. All right.
Okay.
And we're done with A? Because I'm going to go to B because there's a typo in B. Thank you, trustee Ryan.
Yeah, I noticed
Sorry about
too.
that. I just-
No, it's right.
Yeah.
Somebody picks it up.
I don't-
So on your finance breakdown,
Go to 3.
you have B1,
2.
okay,
And then I don't have B2. Yes, I do.
B2,
I have a B2.
A3 should be B3. Well, let me go back one.
I got it.
B1 was done at committee. B2, you didn't have your reports, you didn't have your board secretary report, you have that now. Okay, that was sent to you. B3 is an updated claims and accounts.
And this is B4.
Instead of A3, that should be B3, my fault, sorry. Which leads us to appropriation transfers, which is B4. I'll give you a chance, obviously, like I said, closing out the books. We just got this resolution today, not to throw it in front of you, but we didn't really have much of a choice. If you want a minute or two to go over it, if there's anything outstanding on it, on appropriation transfers?
Yeah, most of it was booking the final payrolls of the year, and most of the transfers were within the same fund categories, which technically don't need board approval, but we share with you all the transfers. Most of them were made within the, basically goes by the advertised budget, however the categories are. Anything outside of those advertised appropriation lines have to be approved by board transfers. We do the whole, we just show you all the transfers. So sometimes it does seem like a lot.
So if anything does pop out and we need to go over, we have no problem doing that.
And between my doorbell. Got to sign it.
If not, all the other B resolutions were done at committee until we get to resolution B25. I'll give everybody a chance to get to it. B25 is services for a classified student. We're entering an agreement with Douglas Outreach at Rutgers University. The resolution pretty much talks about the assessment process, 6 to 8 weeks. There'll be a follow-up meeting, and you'll see charges that are being billed out for the student. So that's B25. B26 is an agreement also for a student. This is nursing services for a classified out-of-district student, which we're responsible for. That's B26, Maxim Healthcare Services. We went out to bid on 3 items. I'll start with B27, special education student transportation. And this is the resolution with a breakout of the bidders. And then we had 2 reverse bid resolutions. The first was a reverse bid was the Acer C720 Chromebooks. And I guess basically this is the vendors that are out there that are paying us for our slightly used, very used equipment.
Had very favorable outcomes with the Chromebook and the Apples. The Apples apparently are in hot demand. We had 7 bidders bid on our used 6-year-old, 5 or 6, I think they're 6 years old. 6 years old Apple teacher.
The Apple is the B29.
We had a bidder that was very high, so we're going to receive hopefully a few $100,000 more than we thought.
Dr. Maynard, I have a question for Laura for business. If you could just, B27, the first item, if I can just get clarification as to why from that particular route, if you see the destination, the pickup point to the destination.
It's probably a homeless child.
It is DCF.
It's a homeless, the last bona fide residence
Was Bayonne, so we're
Bayonne. They are
responsible.
now homeless
Okay.
in Elizabeth, and we're obligated to pick them up. But McKinney-Vento is the state act that makes us.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that the point of origin was correct.
Going back to B27, Trustee Alonso, did you get all the information you needed for?
Yeah, on B27, that's the transportation. Yeah, and I did a memorandum to Matt Bolden on it regarding the position the board should take as to
I did see that.
disqualifying.
Yep. Okay. And then our last resolution in B is B30. This is for an out-of-district student, homeless. That is our responsibility. And it's with Newark Public Schools, and you'll see a breakdown of the amount in the day. The finance was moved by Trustee Munoz, and it was seconded by Trustee Lalonde. I'll hold on getting anything else signed. Okay, that brings us to personnel. Resolution C1 to C6. We're all done at, take that back. C1 to C5. We're done at committee. C6, if you remember, it was a resolution last month that the board wasn't happy with the language, and I wound up striking it. And what we wound up doing is making a clean copy of the resolution and just bringing it back to you, instead of having lines drawn through the old resolution. So C6, it's the presence of a school psychologist during the extended school year program at Woodrow Wilson and Bayonne High School. Hopefully this resolution's a little more clear than the one we presented last month. If there's no questions, I'll move ahead. Mr. Kopaz, our monthly HIB report.
Thank you, Dr. Mayor. In accordance with the Bayonne Board of Education Policy 5512, during this reporting period, one incident of harassment, intimidation, and bullying has been reported and investigated at Bayonne High School. There was no confirmed evidence of the investigated acts of HIB. Strategies, resources, and remedial measures were implemented. All documentation is being retained by the school anti-bullying coordinator.
It's in the credit recovery program, because what else is going on at Bayonne High School?
It was one of the last days of school.
Okay.
Just under the wire.
That is amazing, because you were expecting near zero. I was wrong.
Resolution C8, C9, C11 are inside, C12 is inside. That'll bring us to 14, which is coaching and advisors. You'll see cross-country assistant coach and an assistant coach for football, C14.
This was a vacancy for our cross-country team, which starts in August. And then also, we had a coach that was appointed that cannot meet those responsibilities. So we have a gentleman that's in front of you who is a teacher in the district who will be an assistant coach and will be coaching freshman football.
C15, every year we do a resolution on designated uniform vendors list.
How was the policy revised? It said the Board of Ed has revised policy 5511. I didn't know we revised it.
I don't remember revising.
I didn't know that we changed anything.
The text,
I'll-
the text might be there. for
Yeah, I'll double
origination, whether
check,
we
yeah.
have the
Okay.
uniform policy, or maybe just the word that needs to be removed perhaps.
Why is this on curriculum?
Is that on curriculum?
Personnel, I'm sorry, why is it, I apologize, why is it on personnel?
Last month, if we all remember, there was a little confusion about why I put some resolutions in one category versus another. So what I thought we decided is resolutions that belong to Mr. Kopaz, I would keep in personnel. Resolutions that belong to Dr. Degnan, I would keep in curriculum.
Okay.
And I would do my best to maintain some sort of order that way. So that's kind of why it's in personnel.
All right, no, I was watching, because it seems like a finance thing for, uniforms, you know?
We don't get or give any money, so.
And then
Yes.
the last resolution is C16 is just staff to attend a workshop. It's the annual autism conference, October, and we have 2 staff members that will be going. That completes personnel. The rest will be inside. My mistake, I'm making too many mistakes this month. D1, my fault, memorandum of agreement, it's not going to be voted on, so that's going to be tabled. So that won't be presented tonight, but at least you get a chance, you all have copies of it. And then finally, and I put it on non-consent just in case trustees did not want to vote for it, it's the approval to amend and adopt the 2018-19 school year budget. I'll turn it over to Matt and Mr. Smith. As you know, we received a little bit more aid. You'll see it in the resolution,
$242,084 in additional state aid we received earlier this month, but we have to let the county know our intention is either one of 2 things: to turn it over to the city to lower the tax rate, or to utilize it for our general good, the needs of the district. In finance, we voted to utilize it, to keep it and use it for the needs of the district. The only caveat with something like this, when you amend the budget, you need a 6-person majority of the vote. So we would have to have a two-thirds majority of the 9 members to vote for it. Finance is recommending it. Am I correct, Mr. Broderick, that we're going to keep it? So if 6 of you folks,
Chairperson,
yeah.
Munoz would be in charge of that.
And then we can go
I defer any money promised.
then we can go from there. But we will make good use of it in the district. If we were to turn it back to the city, it's a lot of money when you say the figure, but the overall tax, what it would do is lessen the tax rate by pennies on the dollar, and it's really, it's a sticky situation, but finance is recommending that we keep it in-house, so to speak.
Right. Can I just add to that a little bit? Yeah, so finance, we did meet and we did go over it, and the majority of us felt that, like I said, it would have been such a minuscule savings on the tax bill that it wouldn't have made much of a difference to the taxpayer, and based on the recommendations of the curriculum committee and some of their needs that they recently came up with, we felt we could have used that $232,000 to was it curriculum, and I think also personnel. There's some educators that need to be added, so we decided to use that money to do that, to improve classroom instruction. So that's why finance chose to do it, a majority of finance. It was not a unanimous vote, I want to make that very clear, but that's why we chose that. Like you said, Mr. Broderick, you'll defer to me on that one. I'm sure I'll be getting Facebook messages later.
Well, in defense, it's things like, besides the couple of educators we need, I think it's in the special ed area, and
Yes, and it
things
was-
like the steam pipe and like Mr. Smith said, the steam pipe and the filter for the Lincoln School pool, they're not going to fix themselves. And
Right. So,
I know we're very good looking here, but I don't think that's going to get it done, so.
Okay, not hearing any other questions for outside? Not hearing any, we're going to adjourn to a closed session for legal, personnel, and negotiation questions. It is 6:20.